Hey everybody, it's Kelly Cooper and welcome to another Facebook Live video from coming to you from Chiang Mai, Thailand. Today I want to talk about your mind. I talk about the mind a lot because our mind's dysfunction is really your only problem when it comes to changing your reality more easily and less painfully. All the other stuff, affirmations, doing all the personal development work, all of that has its place, but if you can tackle your mind's dysfunction and be more aware of it and have a better understanding of how it functions, and you just consciously choose to move away from that, things start falling into place beautifully. And you get what you want right away, which is to feel better because you start breaking free of all its bullshit that's making you miserable. So today I want to talk about the irony of your mind's goal of pain minimization. And I've talked about this a lot. The only thing your mind cares about is minimizing pain. You're experiencing certain feelings. Your mind attributes these feelings to your outside circumstances. So it holds to your mind, if I get these changes, if I get these things I want, the pain goes back dormant. It won't be rustled up anymore. It can go back to being undisturbed. Healing the pain, transforming it, happiness, well-being, bells and whistles to your mind. Doesn't give a shit. Doesn't matter. Doesn't care about that. It cares about minimizing it. It's like, oh, if I can just get more money, if I get a boyfriend, if I get someone that will sleep in the same bed as me, can stand to be in the same, all of that, get a different job, I'm good. Pain minimization, very low bar for what it's willing to accept into your life, right? Because again, happiness and true happiness and doesn't care, right? Your mind doesn't care about true love and connection. Your mind just wants a boyfriend, so you're not lonely anymore. Your mind doesn't care about doing work that's fulfilling to you and makes you feel alive and makes you feel passionate. It cares about getting a job to pay the bills so you can survive. You know what I'm saying? So the funny thing about pain minimization is everything it wants you to do is with this end in mind. The pain rules your fucking life because everything you do is about not disturbing it, trying to make it go away, not triggering any new pain. And by pain, pain, I know when we think of pain, that might evoke thoughts of a specific type of emotion, like, oh, pain, I'm in deep pain. But by pain, I mean that's just a blanket term for any feeling we don't like, whether it's fear, anything, right? Just discomfort of doing something new, caring what people think about us, anything, any feeling that we're like, ugh, how could I make this go away? That's what I mean by pain. But again, you see, by making pain minimization the goal, the pain rules your life because all you're focused on is your pain and trying to make it go away. And from a manifesting energy perspective, we see that's a giant clusterfuck because all you're focused on is what you don't have. You cling to anything that comes into your reality that might take the pain away, whether or not this thing is a good representation of what you want. Again, mind doesn't give a shit. It's driven by wanting to minimize pain. You're driven by such a deep fear of not getting what you want that anything that floats into your reality that checks some of the boxes, your mind's like clinging to that shit for dear life. I need it to be this guy. I need it to be this job. I need it to be this experience. I need it to be this opportunity. Again, whether it's the best match, doesn't care. It's good enough. That's how it works with pain minimization. All your mind cares about is minimizing that pain. Something comes into your life, and then if that something doesn't work out, you go into an emotional tailspin, you freak out. And your feelings have nothing to do with what's happening, so it's very crafty at convincing you. It just has you thinking in a way that's just so dysfunctional and just so wrong and causes you so much pain. So yeah, pain minimization, the irony is your pain rules your life because everything you do is with this end in mind of just trying to make it go back dormant. Again, not healing it, not transforming it in any way, not making it actually go, just tamping it down. Like, okay, if I'm worried about money, I don't like how that feels. If I get more money, I won't have to deal with these feelings around money. I don't like how it feels being single. I don't like what it makes me think about myself. I don't want to deal with any of that. If I get a boyfriend, I won't have to deal with any of that. That's the space your mind is operating from. And again, from a conscious creation energy perspective, the being driven by pain minimization is just, you're really selling yourself short with what you're capable of allowing into your life. You can still manifest from a space of pain minimization, but like I always say, you're going to get some watered down version of what you want, or you're not going to get the things you want for the reasons you want them. They're going to be showing up for some other reason. Like the boyfriend doesn't show up because you're a great match to love. It shows up as a reflection of your willingness to settle and compromise in life, or your really shitty self-esteem. You know what I mean? So pain minimization. And not only is it it holds you back by trying to minimize the pain you have now, it wants to keep you from doing anything that might cause more pain in the future. And a lot of the things you want to do in life, your mind's going to see pain there because it's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. You're going to have to deal with energies that would get in the way of moving forward in these ways you want to move forward. And your mind's like, oh, more pain, no thank you. Think about the pain minimization, how it holds you back. You're in a relationship you know is not working for you. It's been over for years, but the fear of the pain that might come from making that change, leaving that relationship, your mind is like, oh, no, we don't do that. I'm all about minimizing pain. You might not be unhappy now. You might be unhappy now with the relationship, but all that noise, that'll be worse pain. If we have to have pain, I'll settle for this pain now that we're already dealing with. You want to start your dream business, turn your passion into profits, as they say. Your mind sees a ton of pain there. Got to learn all sorts of new stuff that's uncomfortable for you. You might have to learn about fucking WordPress for a blog, or you have to take a class, or you have to dip into your savings because you might not be making money right away, or you have to invest money in certain things for the business. All of that, your mind's like, pain, no thank you. Yeah, you don't like your job now, but we can deal with that pain. I'm already familiar with this pain. I don't want any more on my plate. I'm already dealing with enough pain. I already have enough. I'm juggling enough plates of pain here. So you see, not only with pain minimization, not only is it about the pain you're dealing with now that's fucking you up, how it wants to try to handle it, but any future pain, it also is like, oh, no, anything that I think will make me uncomfortable in even the slightest way, sorry, I can't get on board with that. I can't let you make those decisions. And we listen to our mind because we're very used to listening to it. Again, we're driven by a lot of very dysfunctional thinking. We're driven by deep fear, bone deep fear of running out of money, not getting what we want, ending up alone, never healing the health problem, never losing the weight, never having this experience, never experiencing that, never blah, right? And we have this deep fear. And everything we do is about keeping that fear from being triggered and keeping all that other sort of pain from being triggered. And you see, again, that goal, it's funny, it's ironic that means your pain rules your life, because everything you do is about trying to avoid dealing with it, just trying to make it go away, but not truly go away as in healing it, but just have something happen that makes it go back dormant. That's all your mind cares about. Your mind has no use for your happiness, health, emotional health, well-being, fulfillment, all those really deep feelings you crave that lie at the root of all the specific things you want on the surface level. Again, bells and whistles to your mind, not necessary. So you see, if you keep listening to your mind, you might be able to manifest the stuff the human ego mind wants. You'll change your energy enough, or again, you'll get this stuff for the reasons you don't want it. You'll get the boyfriend, but it's not because he's the match for you. It's because he's there to show you something else in your energy that's still fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So you really don't want to listen to it because that's all it's willing to settle for. Again, you want in a relationship, you want deep love and connection and someone to share your life with. Your mind doesn't give a fuck about any of that. Your mind's like, I just feel terrible because I'm single. It makes me feel like I'm a loser. It makes me think all these terrible things about myself. I just want a boyfriend so then I don't have to think about and feel that stuff anymore. Because it means it must not be true if someone wants to be with me. You want work that ignites your soul and you have all these wonderful feelings and you feel fulfilled and you love what you're doing and you feel like you're making a real contribution to the world. Your mind's like, I don't give a fuck about that. We got bills to pay. You need to just get a job that pays your bills. Mine's like, I'm in survival mode. I'm just terrified of what's running out of money. You need money. I don't care about all that stuff. Passion, fulfillment. Fuck that. You just go get a job that gives you a direct deposit into your bank account every 2 weeks. So you see, operating from the level of the mind, you might get all the stuff you want, a human you wants, but it's not going to be great versions of it. You're not going to be happy because the lack of the thing is not really the reason you're unhappy now. And again, you're going to get what your mind is willing to accept. It's a very, very low bar. Pain minimization is a very, very low bar. And if you keep operating from pain minimization, you're going to manifest stuff, the lower level type stuff in that sense, because that's where your energy's at. You can't really manifest much beyond that level of experience, that level of reality. So you might be thinking, well, how do I keep my pain from ruling my life? And I bet my answer is not going to surprise you. You got to deal with your shit. Because if you don't deal with your shit dominates your energy. And as long as your shit dominates your energy, you're always going to want to be manifesting from a space of trying to make it go away and make things happen that you think will make it go away so you don't have to feel it anymore. Because once you start dealing with your shit and you start feeling better, you still want the things you want. It's fine. There's no all that stuff us humans tend to want. It's very understandable we want these things. It's not a problem to want them. I'm not discouraging you from wanting them. But the space we're wanting them from and trying to attract them from is a giant big old mess for most of us. And we want to clean that up a little bit. So if your pain's no longer driving your desire because the pain's not really there anymore, it opens up a whole new world to you. You won't manifest from pain minimization anymore because that pain, there's not as much pain there to be minimized because you've dealt with your shit. You've realized the true roots of your problem are your self-image, all of these deeper energies, these deeper feelings that were just triggered by your circumstances, weren't actually caused by them. So when you're no longer operating from pain minimization, when you're no longer being driven by the pain, you can move out of pain minimization mode. You're not so desperate to manifest the stuff you want. When stuff comes into your reality that you know is really not a fit for you, instead of trying to cling to it or force it or trying to make it work or manipulate it or settle for it, you realize, no, that's not it. And you feel more confident walking away from the bad relationship. You feel more confident not continuing on with the guy you've gone out on a few dates with because you actually realize, yeah, he's really not for me. And it's easier to do all that when you're not driven by this deep fear of not getting what you want, this deep need to make your pain go away. You're like, oh yeah, that guy's not a match for me, this job's not a match for me, something doesn't work out the way you expected, you just shake that shit off. Because again, when you're not driven by just trying to make the pain go away, you know, life becomes much easier. You're not clinging to everything, you get in the flow of life. And when you're in the flow of shit, and that's when the miracles happen. That's when the stuff comes really easily and effortlessly. That's when the really good stuff shows up. So you have to unload some of the pain. If you keep refusing to deal with it, you'll never move out of pain minimization mode because you'll never be able to look past your pain. You'll have a very hard time looking beyond the circumstances right now that you're not loving, trying to focus more instead on what you'd like to see. Because the pain, it's this big, heavy, thick thing that's just this thing that's looming large in your energy all the time. You'll never be able to look past it. So right now, hi Connie, how are you? I hope you're enjoying the video. You have to start examining if you're feeling like really bad without the stuff you don't have. You have to examine, what am I looking for these manifestations to fix? What pain is here that I'm trying to minimize? What do I think this manifestation is going to fix for me? Right now, you're trying to manifest success in your business from a place of deep shame about your lack of progress. You feel shame. Maybe you feel resentful about other people's success or the abstract massive people who aren't buying your products and services. This like abstract massive like faceless mob that's like, fuck these people for not supporting me. Where are you trying to manifest the relationship from? You feel broken and like there's something wrong with you. And if you manifest a relationship, it means that these terrible things you think about yourself aren't true. Are you trying to get the love you didn't get from your dad? Are you trying to get the relationship to heal all these emotional wounds that happened long ago and you think someone's love is going to be some kind of salve, some kind of balm for them? Where are you trying to lose the weight from? Is it because you fucking hate your body and you're disgusted by it and you're torturing it by putting it through all this stuff, trying to lose the weight, but you're not losing the weight because the energy is just like, oh my God, I hate how I look, I need to lose weight? Do you see certain manifestations as a condition to manifesting something else you want? And you think, if I don't get this thing to happen, then A, B, and C, if I don't get A to happen, then B and C can't happen either. Weight loss is actually a good example. You might think your weight is holding you back because you're overweight. That means you can't have a relationship. You feel like it dims your professional prospects, or it affects your life in all these other ways. So then the weight loss you see as this huge condition to getting the boyfriend, to getting the better job, to having this experience or that experience. That's going to create a lot of pain. That's going to create a lot of pressure, because if you think not only do you want something in and of itself, but if you think you need to get one thing to get other things in addition, that's even more pain right there. That's even more pressure. And I know we don't want to look at this. We just want to figure out how the law of attraction works so we can get our stuff. That's why we're so obsessed with tools and techniques. We think it'll be a workaround for not having to deal with our feelings. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't have value, but for most of us, the space we're engaging with those resources from, they're little to no use to us, because we're either doing stuff that we have no resonance with at all and it's just not working, or we have so much tension underlying our work with it that any benefit we might get from doing these workbooks or doing these programs or doing this tool or doing that, the effect is just so muted and minimal, and it's that whatever energy we activate by doing these things, it's just no match to the energy that we're dealing with right now, all the pain and ick that we're just trying to make go away. So don't be afraid to go within. It's really not that bad. Here's the thing. The worse you feel, like I always say, the more attached you are to getting something, the more shit you're looking for the manifestation to fix. And if you're not seeing any movement in your life and you're just really unhappy, there's stuff there, or else you wouldn't feel that way. We don't care about getting stuff we don't care about. Care stems from need, and need stems from pain. That's just how it works. So if you can lighten the load a little bit, if you can clean up your energy a little bit and try to manifest from this cleaner space, you could still want what you want, but you're not going to feel desperate for it. This pain, this pressure and this pain, it's not going to be driving you anymore. And the stuff comes a lot more quickly. You'll start taking different actions. You'll give up on the actions that maybe feel badly. You'll just do the stuff that feels good. You'll see a lot of problems might start to solve themselves without you doing a damn thing. No action on your part was required to make it work out. And once you pull back and you get out of your own way, things start working themselves out. And if there's any action or you playing a role in some way is going to play a part in the resolution or the forward movement, you'll feel inspired to do that thing. You'll recognize these inspired actions and choices when you see them, and you'll do them, and it'll be fine. But right now, again, pain minimization, the pain will continue to rule your life. And it's funny because all we want to do is make the pain go away, but then by listening to our mind, we just compound it. We make it linger. We give it more pressure, give it more juice. We feed it. We solidify it even more. So again, you don't want to do things the way your mind wants to do them, because it has no idea how this works, and its way of operating is so extremely dysfunctional. All its shit of trying to minimize your pain increases your pain, and again, your pain rules your life, because everything you do is just trying to get it to go away. That's all you're focused on ever. So it's funny that we keep listening to our mind thinking, oh, if I do it this way, all my pain will go away. But it doesn't work. You see, it doesn't work. You all have a mind. You see what it does. You see how dysfunctional it is. And when we start to recognize, and here's the thing, once you start to recognize that dysfunction and then you keep choosing to listen to it, that's even more painful, because you see now it's bullshit. You see what it's doing, but then you feel like you have no other choice but to listen to it. But you can listen to it. It's almost like we see how wrong it is, but then it's like we feel like we're still at the mercy of it, or we still have to do things its way. And again, that's going to create even more pain. It's going to create even more tension. Because whereas before you weren't maybe aware of the level of its dysfunction, you actually agreed with it and thought, okay, this is how this is actually how it is. But now when you know, and then you keep doing it, which is what a lot of us are doing, you see that creates even more pain. That creates a hell of a lot more tension, because you see the dysfunction now, and you see how it's fucking you up. But it's such a deep habit, you feel like you can't help but keep listening to it. You can stop listening to it. It's a little bit of a process sometimes, but it requires us to make conscious choice. It requires us to be willing to give up fighting for all our shitty feelings and beliefs. It requires us to deal with the pain, because again, you can't move out of pain minimization mode if you don't do anything about the pain. If you don't pull it, if you don't tamp it down a little bit, if you don't unload some of that pressure, it will always rule. And again, it's really not that bad. So where you have to start is what's driving the desire here? What's the pain? Where the need is stemming from the pain. What is this pain? What are you looking for the manifestation to fix? What are these hidden manifesting agendas? Is it making shame go away? Is it healing an emotional wound? Is it, you're looking for it to fix something, and it can't fix it because it has nothing to do with it. And then again, you unload some of that pain, you feel a little bit better, you'll feel physically lighter. You'll feel actually physically better doing this. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this. Our energetic pain, it has almost like a physical weight to it. You feel it. It's a heaviness. And in that lighter space, you start seeing things for what they really are. You start seeing your manifestations for what they really are. Not these things that you absolutely need to be happy, but stuff that is just nice to have. And they're nice bonuses, you know what I mean? Again, and no reason not to have them. Your mind thinks your pain driving your conscious creation journey somehow works and somehow is like an integral part of getting what you want. But knowing what you know about energy, nothing could be further from the truth. So if you want to move out of pain minimization mode, gotta deal with the pain. You have to understand that's how your mind is operating. Pain minimization. Again, very low bar for what it's willing to accept into your life. It's going to keep you from doing all sorts of things you want and need to do to improve your life. Because again, it's going to see more pain there. Whether it's just the mere discomfort of learning a new skill, to worrying about what people are going to think about you, to bringing up stuff with, you know what I mean? So again, not only is it a problem as far as the pain you have now, it holds you hostage in a way because it wants to keep you from doing all these things that it views as creating more pain in the future. Because it's like, no, I'm all about no pain, so no thank you. And when you start to realize how everything that happens serves you, a lot of things you're afraid to do now because you think they might turn out negatively, you see the purpose these sorts of manifestations serve. So if those things happen to go that way, you're not as scared of these potential outcomes anymore because you see the purpose they're serving. You're telling a different story about these experiences. A lot of the things your mind thinks is bad, they're not bad or good. They're nothing. They're inherently, they have no meaning. We assign the meaning by our emotional response and the story we tell about it. So that's another thing too, moving out of pain minimization. So many things you're afraid of happening. If they happen, you realize it'll be okay anyway, so then that fear is not holding you back anymore. You see the uncomfortable feelings, they're just showing you your inner world. These negative feelings aren't the enemy you make them out to be. You're not going to be so afraid of them anymore. You see them for what they are. You see the value in them and how they can actually help you. But the only way you can move towards this warm, fuzzy way of operating is you got to unload some of the pain, because you can't move out of pain minimization mode when the pain is still dominating. So let it out. Be honest about your manifesting motivations right now. Be honest about what you're looking for the manifestations to fix. These can be hard things to look at. These can be hard pills to swallow. But if these feelings are there, they're there. That's it. When I talk about all this pain, it's not because I think personal development is some serious journey or I romanticize the exquisite pain of the human experience or any of that shit. It's just about acknowledging a very obvious reality for most of us. We have this pain there. And just like anything else in life, you can't fix problems that you don't admit to in the first place, that you pretend aren't there, that you deny are there. It's the same thing with your feelings. If the feelings are there, they're there. And knowing what you know about energy, if that's the root of what's creating your reality and you're not dealing with any of it and you're not transforming your energy in any real way, we can't expect our reality to change in any real way. So there's really no way to get around doing that. So if it's there, it's just a matter of if it's there, it's there. If you have a problem you're dealing with, it doesn't matter how much intellectually you understand about spirituality and personal growth and conscious creation and the law of attraction. It doesn't matter how much you feel like you shouldn't feel this way based on what you know, or based on, well, I already did all this work, I should be past this by now. But you're not past it. So again, what's there is there. So you either deal with it or you don't deal with it. And if you choose to deal with it, again, it's really not that bad. And you'll move out of pain minimization mode, and your pain won't rule your life anymore, because there'll be less of it. And when it does show up, you're not as resistant to it. You just see it. It's just showing you what's happening inside. It's just a reflection of your predominant focusing and ways of thinking and feeling and being. And you just use that feedback to make the tweaks you need to make. So yeah, pain minimization mode. Very ironic that your pain rules your life, and it just compounds your pain and just makes it worse and creates more of it. So when you start to really understand this, you start to see how your mind works. It gets easier to stop listening to it and to act in ways that intuitively feel right to you, act from spaces of trust and faith. And again, not listen to your mind, which is severely, severely dysfunctional. You start doing all of that, you create a nice energetic foundation. There'll be a stability to your vibe that is hard to achieve when you're really still stuck in the mind, because everything goes up and down with the mind. You see how the mind is. If something happens it'll let you feel good for a little while, but then that wears off. It's looking to the next manifestation to feed the energy. It's almost like a drug addict. You get the high from the manifestation, you feel better for a while, you feel a little relief, but then eventually, since the outside has nothing to do with how you feel inside, the feelings fade eventually. And it's like an addict. It's like looking for the next fix. It's like, where's the next manifestation to make me feel better? All these different things, right? You see, when you operate from the mind, you see how it's hard to create a more stable vibration consistently because your mind is fucking all over the place. It's just very dysfunctional, and it's always going to be living conditionally and looking to the outside, and the outside will always be changing and in flux, and you can't control anything outside of you essentially. So you see, again, listening to the mind, it poses a big problem. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day or night. For more content, visit my website, livelifemadetoorder.com. Put my videos up on YouTube now, and I have a link on my menu there. They're all like in one spot. They're all in one spot on Facebook too, actually, so they're easy to find. But if you like watching YouTube, yeah, and yeah, I have products up there you can learn about. If you like my perspective on my teachings, I have a lot of products that are very specific to one type of area of life, like relationships, business, health, and all that stuff, and information about my coaching services. Yeah, that's it, guys. Bye-bye.